My guest today is royalty, a king of R&B, soul, and quality music that's been the soundtrack in our lives for many years. First, as a founding member of the group 112, and also as a solo artist who's contributed his voice to songs like Feels Like Christmas, Think of Me Too with the Chandels, Home with Selena Johnson, All of Me with Tamika Scott, and more. His voice is distinct and calming with songs like Cupid and his hit single Beg, which is a beautiful ballad which stands for bringing endless gratitude. We're so happy he's here and ready for more music. Welcome to the show, Q Parker. How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing great now that you're here. We're so
Good.
excited because music that you put out on your own has been some time with the Manual Project, what was in
Yeah.
2012, and you're back with a beautiful ballad, and it's family style because the video has your wife. We love it and looking for more. How is life now, right now, for you?
Oh my man, life is just really great. I
Yeah.
have no complaints. I am enjoying being able to do what it is that I love every day. I get to um, do work in the community. I'm a grandfather, so I get to love on my grandkids on a regular. I am still able to do what I love to do musically and just enjoy family all in the same. And so those are like the components of my world that are all in good spaces.
Yeah, yeah. So now that we have this song Beg, am I hopeful to say that this is just the pre to the album? You working on new music?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The full EP is already complete.
Okay.
We're just taking our time, and when we reveal it to everybody, we wanted to give this first installation, which is big, and just get everybody excited about the style of music that I am now doing. And like you said, it has been 12 years, but I'm very particular when I release music. You know, I can do music every day. It flows through my veins. However, I'm very particular in when I have to figure out where's the right lane for me. Where do I fit myself into the current landscape? And I just felt like, a lot of my peers and male artists kind of gotten away from like singing to women, really showing the positive sides of love, life, and relationships. And once I identified that there was a little crack of space right there, I was like, you know what? I got my team like let's slide our way on in there and set up shop in there. And so Beg is just the very first installation of this whole Q Parker movement, but there is much more to come. Yes.
I love it. Well, we've been playing it on the Hybrid Soul a lot, and I had to invite you on the show just so we can discover more about you.
Cool.
I want to talk about longevity. You've
Okay.
been doing this. We've watched you grow up.
Yeah.
you know and I'm so lucky because living in New York, I got the pleasure to rock with so much and
Yeah.
see just the beginning of you as a founding member of 112. Longevity, did you think you would be here now when you started back in the late 90s?
When we started, you know, I've always been a person who were supported by family, friends, and community in the aspect of follow your dreams. And the sky is not the limit. You exceed the sky. You just keep going and you keep going. However, I didn't have at the time as a teenager the vision to see 30 years ahead.
Wow.
And so that in itself is just a blessing because the life expectancy or the career expectancy of an artist, I don't know the statistics, but I can't imagine it, going past, some years because a lot of artists don't get past the one hit or
Right.
the first album, But here I have with my brother's 5 albums, hundreds of millions of records sold worldwide, um, a solo album in the Manual in 2012, and then embarking upon releasing another one in 2025. And so to directly answer your question, I could not have envisioned 30 years later still doing music and still being a part active in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. I want to first celebrate you as a founder member of 112 because, you know, I've been in conversations with the Atlanta group, the Quartets. If you were on the island, who would you take with you, Jagged Edge or 112? And we start breaking down the music, and it's
Yeah,
like, no, we do this so much with 112. Like,
yeah.
you all came out in such a great time, so much music, classic music that we continue to play over and over. When you think about that teenager that started back then, if you had to tell yourself now, this age, what would you tell Q Parker starting back when the first 112 album released?
Pay attention, um, study the business, learn it, know it like the back of your hand, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would tell myself those three things. And when you were speaking about Jagged and just how much talent, I'm really glad that we were a part of that era and that generation. Oftentimes, I'm a sports fan, and Michael Jordan he always talked about how important Magic and Larry Bird and those guys were, because they were so good that they made him better, because he wanted to continue to just strive and become better so he could be in the conversations of a Magic and a Bird. Well, I can look at that into the music industry of my generation. 112 were pushed because of Jagged Edge, because of Drew Hill and Next and Blackstreet and all of the other groups that I may fail to mention that were in the late 90s, 2000s. And because of that competition, we wanted to make sure we stayed on our A game, because if push come to shove, we wanted to show everybody in the world that those guys couldn't stand anywhere close to us. But it's because of that competition and that friendly rivalry that pushed us all, I believe.
Yeah. What I love, I'm smiling because I remember I got a chance to see you all perform at the Garden when you all were touring with the Isley Brothers. Amazing.
Wow. Wow.
Amazing. Amazing. Like, it was better than the albums, better than the records. The professionalism that you all gained. How do you apply that now in your career?
Wow. Some of the greatest lessons that I hold with me today were being a teenager. I talk about just how great we had it early on. All of the tours we've been on, if it wasn't us headlining our own tour, we opened up for legends, the Osley Brothers, New Edition, the late great Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson. And so each one of those tours, it was like watching legends. And so I personally was just taking notes of their professionalism, their punctuality, their stage presence, their ability to work the crowd, how they manage their voices when they weren't on the stage. If we saw them in a hotel, were they wearing a scarf? Were they talking loud in the hotel prior to like, it was just so many things that I was watching, and I put it in my bag. And these are some of the things that I still hold true to myself, and then I pass it on to people that I mentor and the youth that are a part of my foundation's summer camp. A lot of the stuff that I'm telling them were things that I got from the Osleys and New Edition and Whitney and Janet and Keith Sweat even.
I love that. And I love just captivating the crowd. I guess my first question I wanted to ask, so you were in 112 for a very long time, the decision to go solo.
Mhm.
How did you have the courage and the strength to do that?
Well, when I did my first solo album in 2012, it was at a time where we all had decided that, let's spread our wings.
Mm-hmm.
And, regardless of what you do as a unit, there are still personal goals that you have to stay true to, because when you go to bed at night, there's this voice that are saying, hey, maybe I want to try this, or maybe I want to try this. And the demand of 112 at the time was just so great, where you really didn't have time to explore any other opportunities because we were on the road Monday. Sometimes it seemed like Monday. If out of 365, we probably were on the road 300 of those days. So it really didn't leave a lot of time to do anything else. And so during this time, we said, well, let's just kind of allow everybody room. I think Slim did it. That's what Slim did his solo record, and Deron was doing some stuff, Mike as well. And I, I don't think I really wanted to do a solo album. You know,
Mhm.
I ended up putting a studio in my home and would just go down in my basement every day and just create. As a songwriter and as a producer, I was just creating, and I would create songs for me to sell and shop to other artists. But then once I would hear myself singing it, I'm like, man, I might need to keep this for myself, and maybe I need to do a solo record. But I've never done it. I'm afraid. I'm skeptical. I'm this. I'm that. And I just started spending a whole lot of time with myself and building the confidence of individuality. And I just took a chance on me. I took a chance, and yeah, it worked out.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And, although we said Manual was in 2012, your voice still rings through the years because you have all these guest features that are amazing. Selecting the people that you work with, what's the process of that?
It's really simple. If you want to work with Q Parker, I want to work with you. Like
Yeah.
I'm just one of those, I'm not stingy with my gift. And just as someone gave me an opportunity when I was young, now that I'm in a position, I want to be that for the next generation of artists. And so if you express some real interest in wanting to do a song with me, and obviously I want the song to be dope and hot, that's probably the most selective that I'll be, because I want the record to be a nice record. But I mean, as long as the record is hot, you could be a known act or just somebody who's uh, on their way, on the rise. If the song is a good song and a great melody and a great message, yeah, I'll jump on it.
I feel when I hear you say that, I guess you apply that to the Feels Like Christmas with Jack Freeman, who
Absolutely.
is so dope. I'm such
Yeah.
a fan of him too.
And he's an amazing artist, man. RL from Next is one of my closest friends, and we live maybe like 5 minutes from each other, and we're often over each other's homes. And I was over his house one day, and he was like, "Man, let me play this for you," and it was him singing the second verse of "Feels Like Christmas." And I said, "Who is that?" He was like, "It's Jack Freeman, is B Cox's artist." And I said, "Play it again." He played it again. I was like, "Man, turn the microphone on." And I just created a bridge right then and there and sent it to him. So Jack never asked me to be on the record. I heard RL's second verse, and I was like, "Yo, that's dope. Let me get on it."
Yeah.
And did the Jack, and that's how it became what you all heard as the final product.
I love that. In addition to Jack Freeman, who are some artists, new artists, up and come artists that maybe you listen to right now?
Oh man, I have a community of dope, talented artists.
Yeah.
Jay Howell, J.K. Howells, Dondria, Mila Music. Um, man,
Atlanta. Look, Atlanta.
this Atlanta, man, it's just so many dope, talented artists. My thing is just, all of the information, all of the experiences that I have, I like to just try my best to have these conversations with the artists, because I just want their ride and their journey to be a pleasant one. And the only way it can be pleasant is if you have great business, you have great music, you have great teams around you. Because it's more than just being able to sing, or it's more than just being gifted and talented. You have to be able to navigate through this industry properly.
Yeah. Um, Through your journey in this music industry, I know you've met a lot of different legends like yourself. Is there anyone that just stands out that has given you some wisdom that you apply to in your life now?
I won't say that it was an artist, but I'll say one of legendary icons, executive icons, is Kevin Liles.
Hmm.
Um, he told me and the group one day, we were trying to decide if we wanted to fulfill our third option on Def Jam or go to somewhere else. And we had already completed 2 albums, and we had the option for a third. We decided to not take the third option, which was the last of our commitment. And while he was trying to get us to do the third option, he said, as long as you're in the game, you can affect the outcome. If you're not in the game, you can't affect the outcome.
Mm.
So he was basically saying, uh, you already have a situation right here, which means you're in the game. And you could take this last option and you can create probably one of the best albums you've done. Or you cannot take it, go as a free agent. Somebody may pick you up, may not. Um, but then you won't be in the game, so you can't affect any kind of outcome. And that just stuck with me because we decided to not take the third option, which was the fifth album that we did together. And then until 2018, we did album number 6. But for those years, from I think from maybe 2006 to 18, there were no 112 new projects because we took ourselves out of the game.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. When I get off here, I'm gonna have to marinate on that one. That's one that you just have to stick up on that. Stay in the game.
Yeah.
When we talk about Q Parker, the musician, let's talk about Q Parker, the businessman.
Yes. Yes.
You got a calendar.
Oh
Got a
yeah.
calendar right now. Fitness is very important.
Yes.
Fitness, it helps the longevity. When did that resonate with you in your career as far as just I gotta stay fit?
So in high school, I was very athletic. I was a 4-star letterman, football, basketball, track, and tennis. And that was always just part of me. My mother tells me when I was younger, I was always energetic. I couldn't sit still, just moving. And so they channeled that by having me participate in a lot of sports. And then I started to like it. And so with playing sports, obviously you have to be in shape. And it was just something that I loved when I was younger. My uncle used to call me the governor because a lot of the governors had like these big stomachs and was just round. And I hated it, yo. And so I was just like, yo, I'm not gonna be that guy. And then I just fell in love with the fact that I know what's going in my body. I know what I want to look like. I know what I want my clothes to look like on me. I'm coming to grips of just the body style that I have. And I just love it. And again, I don't try to force that on anybody. I just talk about my experiences and I show the process of my regimen, and I'm consistent with that regimen so that I like to show the results. And that has become one of my mottos: regimen consistency equals results. And it's all for motivational purposes, so that as a whole, if I can encourage you to get up, get active, move, um, I want to do that. But it is paid dividends for me because being in shape and having great regimen, it shows it keeps you young, feeling young, looking young, walking, talking, speaking young. So it's just something that has become a part of my lifestyle.
Yeah. You recently had an announcement. You were in Marrakesh, Morocco.
Yes, yes,
Cold.
yes, yes, yes.
Because you are the music director for an organization called Mawasi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Um,
Mossy Global Community, yeah. So it is a healing retreat, and the purpose is to heal artists so that uh, it can show through the music. A lot of artists have experienced traumas pre-record deal, and then just kind of navigating through the industry in the era that I came up. It was just a lot to deal with. Whether that is, am I good enough? The competition. Am I getting what I'm worth? or the stereotypes. Am I too dark? Am I overweight? Am I too thin? Do I have to wear the clothes that everybody else? Do I need to sing the song that everybody else sing, even though it's not really me? And it could cause a whole lot of mental stress. And so the purpose of Mwasi, the healing community, is to get artists to actually go to the motherland, to Africa, uh, become one with the land, but also go on a 2 week retreat of just therapy, individual counseling, group counseling, and in hopes that we can identify some of these things, and so that the individual can leave there whole and understanding who they are. You are more than your music. You are more than just who the world sees you as. There are other levels to you. Let's identify those things. Let's talk about the things that have gotten you here, but then also be able to project where you see yourself and who you are going forward.
Oh, that's amazing. And artists, they just have to apply for it?
Well, we'll be doing the first one in the end of this year, and yeah, we'll go through a process of cycling through artists and seeing who is going to be this first round of 11 that'll be there, and then from there it'll be an annual retreat that we'll do for artists all over the world.
I love that. I want to talk about touring. You had 3 other members on the stage with you for many years. How is touring for you now? Because you are outside blessing people with your voice, but how is that just you, the solo artist, with your fans?
Well, before I joined 112, I was the last member to join what the world knows as 112. But prior to that, I competed in singing competitions, recitals, and so although I have been a part of choirs, I started out just leading songs by myself in church, and so you get so accustomed to looking to your left and seeing Mike and Duran and Slim on this side. When I decided to do a solo album, it was an adjustment because for years had just been accustomed to, delivering my portion of the 100%. And so as long as I mastered my 25%, especially with a group like 112, so evenly talented, we all had to find our lane and then master our lane. And of the 100%, we evenly had to master our 25%, 25% of the video, 25% of the performance, 25% of the song, 25% of the interview. Like we just had to master our. The moment you go into the 26%, now you're stepping in somebody else's lane. And in order for us to go successfully, everybody moves with their portion. But what that did for me, it left years of just 75% in reserve over in the closet somewhere. And I just had to one day say, I want to spend some time with those years of 75%. So now I can give the world a full 100% of Quintus Q Parker. And although I miss being on stage with my brothers, I thoroughly enjoy just being on the stage as Q Parker.
Will we get a chance, being that we've seen New Edition do a residency? Will 112 come back and bless us with some shows?
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
I am very hopeful because I still think that there's more work to be done to with the story of 112. However, in the meantime, I have to focus on this Q Parker movement because
Absolutely.
it's a serious movement with a lot of good energy and positivity, great messaging, and yeah, it's a few more things that I have to Q Parker do, and then but I keep the 112 uniform close by,
I
so when
love that.
when I see the when I see the what do you call it, the
Yeah.
Batman, I'm
You
ready.
ready? You ready?
Yeah.
I've had. What is that feeling? And I also say I've had the opportunity to see you get on stage and tell the DJ to drop Cupid. What's that feeling like when people are singing your song?
It's like I can appreciate the work that we put in.
Yeah.
Um, who knew that 30 years ago, when we're just in Mike's grandmother's house and Duran is playing the piano and we're writing songs, that these songs would be the soundtracks to a generation's lives, and that these songs are 25 and 30 years old and still impacting. I had no idea that that was what was going to happen as an 18-year-old. But now as a 48-year-old, it's like I just appreciate and I don't take for granted anytime a classic 112 record is played and still loved and impacts the crowd the way that it does.
Yeah. Isn't it great how the kids in like TikTok find you all, because there's a lot of kids that are so in love with the 90s, the 2000 R&B groups.
Yeah.
It's like job well done because we still here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing because the reason songs become legendary songs is because they can span generations. Like I can go back and listen to the Four Tops or the Temptations. I got sunshine. That record is almost 60, 70 years old, but it's just something about when a song speaks to the soul, it's never going to die. And so I just hope that when I'm 60 and 70 and 80 years old, the new generations are still sampling my catalog and 112 catalogs and just keeping the songs alive.
Yeah. So when we talk about, so Big is like our taste of this new project, bringing endless gratitude. Uh, how are you gathering the concept and the lyrics of what you want to give to us?
I have an amazing team, an amazing production team here in Atlanta. Black Elvis, Felly the Voice, Al Jamal, Aunt J. Bush, Tario, and we got together and had a man, just a male conversation. We did some fellowship and did some fellowship. Um, and in that sit down, just started talking. And one of the guys said, "Yo, we need to bring begging back." And I'm the guy that, if you look at any of the 112 stuff back in years past, I was the one that always wanted to just do something different. If we all had on a denim suit, I'm gonna roll my sleeve up or something. If we all had on something, I'm gonna throw some glasses on, or I'm gonna roll my pants leg up. Just I always wanted to be different. And so when he said bring begging back, we challenged the room and said, well, let's do it differently. Let's not beg because we messed up. That's been done many, many times. I'm sorry, baby, please. Nah, let's flip it, man. Let's make it an acronym and let's make it to where let's just beg on a regular. Beg because I love you, beg because I like you,
Yeah.
and you worthy, I value you. And let's make it to where it's a dual commitment. Men beg for your women, women beg for your men, and just, feel like if you do that consistently, whatever it is that you want, it stays at the ready position.
I love that. I love. So it's beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to this project and more music coming out for you. And my last question, what is the fun part of your job in your life right now?
Seeing the reaction, like it never gets old. Being a creator, I understand that there are times my music is the voice for people's relationships. And it's a way to get a person's perspective across to their mate. And so throughout the years, we have heard the stories of, man, I didn't really know what to say, man, but when I put on that such and such, man, it said exactly what I wanted it to say.
Right.
And that to me never gets old. Me being at a restaurant and somebody walking up, hey Q Parker, can I have an autograph? Or can I take a photo? Man, I'm the guy that's gonna always take every picture, shake every hand, kiss every baby, because I really truly appreciate the fact that you value me and my gift and my product so much that you'll take your hard-earned money and buy a concert ticket, buy a merchandise, download a song, or even come on, follow me on. Like this stuff is not a given. You're choosing to do these things because there's some value that you think it adds to you. And I'm just really appreciative to that. And so that's the easy part of my job, saying yes, being friendly. And I want another motto I live by is it costs nothing to be kind. It costs nothing to be nice, yo, and just bring a smile to somebody's face. And so that for me is the part, one of the parts that never gets old. I love it. And yeah, I love those moments.
I love it. And we love you. We're so glad that you are here. You've been with us. We've grown up with you as well. And I thank you for letting us discover you. We support you. We're going to get them calendars. We're going to come out and see you. We're going to support you. And it's the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid, your destination for music and culture discovery. My guest today is Q Parker.